Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to pull out the really essential knowledge from this week's research.
Yeah, and today our mission, it's really zeroed in on the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
Specifically, we're looking at comments from Patrick Mahomes right after that Week 8 win against Washington. That's the core of it today.
Exactly. We've gone through the analysis trying to distill what's crucial about where this offense is right now, and maybe more importantly, where it's headed going into Week 9.
And it seems like it all hinges on a specific mental shift Mahomes talked about.
That's right, a psychological adjustment. And, our sources are framing this as something that should genuinely worry the rest of the league.
Okay, I like starting right there. A scary thought, as the source material puts it. So this isn't just about one win.
No, not at all. It's about potentially the best quarterback in the game tapping back into, let's say, a historically dangerous level of confidence.
All right, let's get into it then. What exactly did Mahomes say? What was this mental shift he described after the game?
Okay, so let's unpack that quote from the press conference. He was talking about resilience, right?
Yeah.
Bouncing back from mistakes, penalties, turnovers, that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
And he said the mindset now is, and I'm quoting here, that's kind of the mindset that I had early in my career, that the penalties weren't going to affect us. We were going to go out there and score no matter what.
Score no matter what.
Yeah.
That phrase alone is pretty intense.
Yeah.
But the comparing it to his early career, that's loaded, isn't it?
Yeah.
What exactly does that period represent statistically?
It is loaded because, look, when Mahomes talks about his early career, you immediately think of peak offensive production. We're talking 2 seasons hitting 5,000 passing yards.
Right.
And crucially, that 2018 season, 50 passing touchdowns. I mean, that's arguably the high watermark for offensive dominance we've seen recently.
That's 2 touchdowns here.
So when he says he's getting back to that level of confidence, the implication is huge. He's setting an incredibly high bar for their own expectations.
Okay, but let's push back on that a little. Isn't invoking 2018 maybe a bit misleading? I mean, that offense looked very different.
How so?
Well, Tyreek Hill, right. His speed was fundamental to that score-no-matter-what approach, stretching the field vertically like almost nobody else could.
That's a fair point.
This current group, they're talented, sure, but structured differently. Can this roster really execute with that same aggressive confidence, even if Mahomes feels it?
That's a really sharp distinction, and it's key to this whole deep dive. The sources definitely acknowledge he isn't, on pace for those exact 2018 numbers right now in 2025.
Okay.
But the point isn't about identical stats. It's about the belief, that unshakable conviction that a penalty or an early pick, it just doesn't matter. They'll overcome it.
So it's the mentality returning.
Exactly. And the difference now, the reason it's potentially so scary, is that this returning confidence is happening just as their personnel is getting, well, more complex and dangerous.
You mean with players coming back?
Specifically, yeah. Rashee Rice really rounding back into form starting Week 7. It's like the mental switch flipped right when a key weapon became fully available again. Its potential being unlocked.
Okay, so the mindset's there, he says, but we need to see it on the field, right? Especially when things don't go perfectly. That Commanders game in Week 8 sounds like the perfect example.
It absolutely is. It was like the classic tale of two halves, and it showed they can flip that switch even mid-game when things aren't clicking.
Right, because going into halftime, it was 7-7 against a team they were expected to handle pretty easily. And Mahomes himself said it right. He admitted they didn't match Washington's energy early on, said something like, they had more energy than we did, their defense versus our offense.
Yeah, and the honesty is important. It wasn't like they were out-schemed necessarily. It was about intensity, mental focus.
So the adjustment was more about attitude.
Seems like it. The decision in the locker room was basically, okay, we need to match them. We need to get back to that 2018 approach, score no matter what, and the execution that followed. That showed their real potential.
And the execution was, well, pretty ruthless in the end.
Oh, it was clinical. They came out, scored 21 unanswered points, 3 touchdown passes from Mahomes.
It wasn't gradual, was it?
Not at all. The momentum started right away, that first drive in the second half, and it just kept going. It proved the mindset can translate into immediate results, even when you start slow against a fired-up opponent.
Okay, so this connects everything. We've got the mindset, that 2018 swagger. We've got the proof that second-half turnaround. But you mentioned the personnel being different now.
Right.
So what did the sources say about the current players that makes this mental shift so dangerous now, if it's not just Tyreek Hill running deep?
That's where this idea of diversity comes in. The analysis we looked at states pretty clearly. This version of the Chiefs offense is maybe the most diverse and dynamic they've had in a while, meaning they aren't just leaning on one guy or one type of play. It's not just Kelce over the middle or a designated deep shot. They have threats, leverage all over the field.
And we saw that in the second half against Washington. The sources mentioned specific names.
Yeah, they highlighted who was, firing on all cylinders then. Travis Kelce, obviously. Rashee Rice, Isaiah Pacheco running hard. Even Kareem Hunt making an impact. And then Xavier Worthy bringing that speed element they do need.
It's multiple guys contributing significantly.
And that's the core insight, leverage. When you have Kelce demanding attention, but then Rice is winning his matchups, and Worthy is stretching the field horizontally or vertically, what does a defensive coordinator do?
It makes it hard to double team anyone.
Exactly. You're forced into tough one-on-one situations or simpler zones that Mahomes just eats up.
And the depth makes that threat even more potent. That was another key point in the analysis, right?
Absolutely. Think about this detail. It's pretty telling. Hollywood Brown and Tyquan Thornton, guys who made plays earlier in the season, barely saw the ball in this game. And the offense still put up 21 unanswered points and a half.
Wow. So they didn't even need to lean on two of their known speed threats.
Right. The fact that they can have that kind of explosive half without forcing it to those guys just underlines the depth they have now. It makes game planning against them incredibly difficult.
Okay, let's glance at the Week 8 numbers, but maybe focus on how they show that distribution rather than just a list of stats.
Good idea. Look at the receiving yards. Kelce led? Sure. 6 catches, 99 yards, just missed the century mark, got that historic touchdown.
Close.
But right behind him, Rashee Rice. 9 catches, 93 yards, and a touchdown of his own.
Okay, so nearly identical high-level production from two different guys in the passing game.
Precisely. Forcing the defense to account for both. Then look at the backfield. Pacheco had a solid game, 58 rushing yards. But Kareem Hunt's role, that really highlights the diversity. He only had 40 rushing yards, but look at the impact. 2 total touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving.
That dual threat from the backfield. That's exactly what you mean by diversity killing a defense. He scores near the goal line and catches a TD pass.
It is. And you put all that together, Mahomes ends up with 299 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. And remember, that was despite throwing 2 interceptions earlier in the game.
Right, which perfectly fits that mindset he talked about.
It absolutely validates it. The early mistakes didn't derail them. They just kept coming because they had the weapons and, crucially, they had regained that belief they would score no matter what. The stats back up the mentality.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this for everyone listening.
Yeah.
The scary potential here, it seems to come down to 3 things coming together at once.
Yeah, I think that's right.
First, Mahomes consciously tapping back into that aggressive, almost relentless 2018 mindset.
Check.
Second, having the right personnel, especially Rice, healthy and playing at a high level to execute different kinds of plays.
Yep, the diverse weapons.
And third, the demonstrated ability to actually do it, to flip that switch instantly mid-game and reach peak execution like they did against the Commanders.
And that convergence, it sets up an immediate, really fascinating test. The sources all point to this next game, Week 9 against the Buffalo Bills.
The huge AFC rivalry game.
Massive. And it's not just any game. It's high stakes against a potentially desperate Bills team, and it's on the road. In northern New York, likely tough conditions.
So a real pressure cooker environment.
Absolutely. It's basically a playoff atmosphere already. This will be the first major test of whether this renewed confidence, this score, no matter what's attitude, holds up against a top-tier defense in a hostile environment. If they pull that off,
then the shift is real, and the rest of the AFC should be very nervous.
You could say that, yeah.
Okay, that context for Week 9 makes this whole deep dive feel very timely. So wrapping things up, the key takeaways are pretty clear. Mahomes invoking that hyper-confident early career mentality.
The 50 TD season mindset.
The offense showing a new level of dynamic diversity, making them hard to defend.
With multiple guys stepping up. Yeah.
And proof they can overcome mistakes and hit that high gear when needed mid-game.
Which leads us to maybe one final thought for you to chew on as you get ready for that Chiefs-Bills game.
All right, leave us with something provocative.
Well, think about this. The analysis suggests this current offense with these players is finding success by adopting the mental approach of the 2018 team, a team built differently, personnel-wise.
Okay.
So if so much hinges on recapturing a mindset, a specific level of confidence and execution, rather than just the raw talent listed on the roster, What does that tell you about what really matters at the elite level?
Confidence versus talent.
Or maybe the synergy between them. How much is pure talent, and how much is belief, cohesion, execution? And perhaps the truly scary thought isn't just Mahomes getting his confidence back. It's what happens if this diverse, talented roster also fully achieves that peak 2018 level of execution at the same time. What does that look like?
That's definitely something to think about before kickoff.